Today is the day we will finally find out if the Portland Trail Blazers will be participating in the NBA playoffs. We've got the second portion of the play-in tournament on tap today. The first game against the Pelicans ended up being a total thriller. And now we've got the Clippers on the schedule to determine who the number 8 seed in the West will be. We ended up beating the Pelicans by 5 in a super hard-fought competitive game. It was always super close. I think the biggest the lead ever got was 7. Fox had 41, Zion had 34, but it was not enough for the Pelicans to get the job done. The Slash brothers, Shaedon Sharpe and Scoot Henderson, both looked dominant. Sharpe had 37 points, while Scoot had 29 and 12 in the win. And everybody else played to their role. Nobody else really stood out, but nobody else really needed to. They did what they had to do while our 2 stars produced at the highest level. We'll be going through the studs and duds of the year for our team at the end of the video today as well. I originally wasn't planning on it, as I said last episode, but somebody made a comment pointing out that it wouldn't really make sense to do it later. And to that, I say you are absolutely correct. I don't know why I thought it would make sense to do it later. So instead, we're going to do it today. But first, our focus is on our final playing game against the Los Angeles Clippers, who got the 7th seed, winning 43 games. Obviously, they've got some high-end talent with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. The Clippers lost their first playing game against the Oklahoma City Thunder to determine the 7th seed. That's how they ended up getting here. And the Clippers really did not play their best basketball in that game, losing by 16. The big storyline being Paul George shooting them out of the gym, as he seems to do often in the playoffs, and that's coming from a big PG fan. I hate to slander him. Shea had nearly 50, while Josh Giddey had a triple-double. Now, our team is limping into this game, and we got another new injury in the last episode. DeAndre Ayton strained his left hip. That's the same injury that Anthony Simons has, but with the other hip. It's something that he can play through, but he's obviously not going to be at full strength. Ayton got hurt in the second half. We had him come back in the game, and then he re-aggravated his injury. But we're going to keep him in for now and rock out with him and Simons playing despite their lingering injuries. So with that, we will hop into our second playing game with the number 8 seed in the Western Conference on the line. We've got quite the atmosphere here at the Crypto.com Center in sunny Southern California. The Clippers obviously have a legacy of failure. With Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, they've only made it out of the second round once. Last year as the number 1 seed, they lost in the first round to the Dallas Mavericks. As we look at the lineups, the Clippers are going to be doing something a little bit different. OG Anunoby will start at the 2, and there is no Paul George. The Clippers are going to have him come off the bench. So I suppose it looks like that the Clippers are just trying to throw something at the wall here and see if it sticks. With their season on the line, they've decided to get desperate and will not be starting Paul George. For the Blazers, it'll be the same 5. They are not getting cute, as DeAndre Ayton wins the tip and we are underway. The Trailblazers, coming off an emotional first-round play-in victory against the Pelicans, now face off against the LA Clippers with a spot in the playoffs on the line. Sharpe gets it over to Scoot Henderson inside with the slam. It's Scoot Henderson who gets the scoring started for Portland. 3-0 now after a singular Blazer 3-throw. It's Bones Highland inside with a nice move on Scoot, getting the scoring started for the Clippers. Like Paul George, Bones struggled to shoot the ball in their loss against OKC, going 4 of 18 from the field. There's Kawhi Leonard, knocks down the triple for the Clippers, making it 5-3. These 2 teams faced off against each other on opening night. One of their seasons will come to a close against each other as well, as Ochai Agbaji hits the corner 3 off the assist by Henderson. Inside, it's OG Anunoby. The defense slow to get down there, and by the time they did, it's too late. Anunoby gets the layup, and the Clippers now lead it. Close start so far. Here's Henderson. Step back, heavily contested. Mid-ranger is good. Nice shot for Scoot Henderson. He's got the mismatch with Bones Highland, who's not a very good defensive player. Henderson looking to capitalize as he gets it to the rookie. Darius Springer with the slam. Nice dunk there for Springer. He was a little quiet in the game against New Orleans. He wasn't bad. He played some good defense. But I'm curious to see if he's able to step his game up here against the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard with it inside. His short shot is good. And the Clippers bring it within 1. It's now 11-12. Springer with a crossover, guarded by the fellow rookie Kamari White, as Sharpe is blocked at the rim, but he gets it back and gets the putback, his first points of the night. Good job there by Sharpe to grab the rebound after his shot was snuffed. Bones Highland inside for the claw. Kawhi Leonard who is in for the layup, and the Clippers back within 1. Abaji with it, gets the screen. Here comes Ochai Abaji with the slam. Nice dunk for Abaji. He's already got 5 early points for the Trailblazers as it's 16-13. Leonard guarded by Sharp. Kawhi with a little bit of room. That's all he needs to knock down the mid-ranger as it's a 1-point game. Here's Sharp with it, trapped in the corner. He's intercepted by Kamori White. Here comes the Clippers in transition. Kawhi Leonard takes the shot, and it's good. Nice pull-up jumper by Kawhi. He's in takeover mode, and the Clippers now lead by 1. Anunoby drives inside. He is in for the layup. Nice move by OG Anunoby, and it's a 3-point lead. Bones Highland with it. He has room. He lets it fly. Knocking down the triple as the Trailblazers call timeout. Clippers on a nice run. 22-16. Here is Shaedon Sharp in the corner looking for the screen. He gets it. Sharp on the move. Mid-range jumper will fall. Nice shot for Shaedon Sharp. It's a 4-point game now. Ben Simmons brings it up the floor in the game for Ayton. Out to Sharp. Deep 3. Bang! Nice shot by Shaedon Sharp. Well beyond the 3-point line as he gets to go down. 1-point game. Jason Preston. It's Sideshow Bob. In for the layup. 24-21 now. Paul George guarded by Scoot Henderson. Here comes George inside. Pull-up jumper will fall. Nice shot by PG. Coming off the bench. A different role for him. Looking to still perform here for the Clippers. Springer backs down on George. And Springer gets the hook shot to go down. Taking advantage of the slight mismatch. Even though George is pretty tall, Springer certainly stronger than him. Here's Paul George looking to rebound. And he does. Nice move to get the mid-range jumper. And the Clippers lead by 5. Final seconds of the first quarter. Scoot looking to get somebody open on a screen. That does not work, so he's tightly guarded by Paul George and will have to heave up a prayer, and it's good! What a shot by Scoot Henderson at the end of the first quarter. The Clippers have been smothering him, and it hasn't mattered. He's got 8 points. However, LA does lead it by 3, 28-25. Still, nonetheless, a very close and competitive start. Here's Paul George off the catch, hits the quick 3 to open up the second. 6-point game. Here comes Ben Simmons with it. Pump fake. Nice move by Simmons. He's in for the layup. 4-point game. Paul George brings it up the floor. He's guarded by Anthony Simons playing through the hip injury. He thought George was going to drive. He doesn't. He's wide open and he hits the 3. 7-point game. Here is Nasir Little with it. Gets it over to Simons. Simons, tough shot. He gets one right back, saying what you can do, I can do better. Knocking down a 3 of his own. 4-point game. Sharp inside. Facing contact. Gets the layup. Nice move by Shaedon Sharp, and we are within 2. Little out to Sharp on the move. It's good. Shaedon Sharp started the game off slowly, but he's heating up with a team-high 11 points. We're knotted up at 34 now. Here comes B.J. Boston. He hits the jumper. Nice shot for the Clippers as they lead by 2. Kawhi Leonard with it, guarded by Little. Kawhi inside. Nice pull-up. It falls. And the Clippers are back up by 4. Similarly to the New Orleans game, this has been a super tightly contested matchup so far. Here's Scoot for 3, and it's good. Scoot was probably 4 or 5 feet beyond the line, but he had enough space, and he said, why not let it fly? Simons now for the lead. It's good. He lets it fly as well, and the Trailblazers are really shooting the 3-ball well here in the early going. George inside for Willy Hernangomez. He gets the layup to fall. We're tied at 40. Off of an inbound, here's Bones Highland with it. Highland step back 3, will fall. Bones Highland knocks down the triple. Both offenses are really heating up here in the second quarter, making a lot of tough shots. Henderson in the corner for Ochai Abaji. Rock Chalk Jayhawk as he knocks it down, and we're tied up at 43. Here is Paul George with it. George, step back, jumper is good. PG's clearly taken to this new role well. He's having an awesome game scoring the ball off the bench so far. Scoot, deep 3, it's good! Big shot for Scoot Henderson. He's got 17 now. The Trailblazers lead by 2. Scoot really shooting it well from beyond the arc. Ayton with the slam off the assist by Abaji. The Trailblazers lead by 4. Paul George off the screen, no good. Ivica Zubac with the offensive rebound on the putback. Ayton's mobility certainly limited with the hip injury as it's a 2-point game. Anunoby hands it off for Paul George. George out to OG in the corner. It's good. OG Anunoby hits the 3, and the Clippers are back ahead as this lead is being passed around like a blunt. Ayton finds the mismatch with Bones Highland, and he capitalizes. The Blazers wanted to get him in that mismatch, and he does exactly that. Portland back up by 1 as the pass is stolen by Abaji. In transition, he gets it to Henderson. Takes it himself all the way to the rack, and he's in for the layup. Nice move by Scoot Henderson. 53-50. It's Filip Petrusev. No good. Zubac with another offensive rebound, and he throws it down. Big-time slam for Ivica Zubac. 53-52. Ayton backs down on the defender again. He's really starting to heat up here at the end of the first half. Started off slowly as a scorer, but he's now really playing well. Under 20 to go. Springer. Jumper is good. You'd think the Blazers would hold until the end of the quarter, but Springer wanted to be aggressive, and it pays off. 5-point game. George for 3. Money! Paul George, PG-13, lets it fly from beyond. 3 seconds to go in the half. It's in the hands of Anthony Simons. Simons heaves it up at the buzzer. No good. And that'll wrap up what has been a really fun first half so far. 57-55. The Trailblazers have the lead over the LA Clippers. Good second quarter there for Portland. They're able to regain the lead as we take a look at what has happened so far in the play-in tournament. Of course, OKC already got the 7th seed, and the winner of this game will be the 8th seed against the Rockets. Just like our matchup against the Pelicans, this game has been very competitive. Nobody's budging on their lead seemingly at all as we go into the second half with both teams' seasons on the line. It's Ivica Zubac in for the layup. Nice play there for the big man. 59-57 now in favor of Portland. Paul George brings it up. George for 3 is good. So PG came off the bench, and I think he's been out of the game for like 1 minute since his first appearance. The Clippers clearly still trust him. They just wanted to basically let him know, you've got to step it up. And boy, is he. He hits another 3 to put LA up by 4. Abaji out to Shaedon Sharpe. Fadeaway 3, wide open. Knocks it down. The Trailblazers right back within 1. Henderson with the offensive rebound. He misses it. Good effort there by Scoot. And here comes the Clippers now in transition. Bones Highland with it inside for Paul George. He is unguardable for the Clippers. 62-65. George with it. George gets a little bit of room, and that's all he needs to knock down another one. 26 points for Paul George. He's already got 11 here in the third. Shaedon Sharpe gets the screen. Sharpe on the move. It is good. It seems like when both teams get a couple of buckets and it looks like they're going to start a run, the other team quickly answers back. Sharpe, step back on Kawhi. It's good. Shaedon Sharpe looking good in the early going here in the third quarter as the lead is within 2. Springer guarded by Norman Powell. That is a mismatch. Here is Springer inside. No good. Grabs his own rebound. Gets the putback. Draws the foul. It's an and 1 for the rookie, Darius Springer. His 3-throw would put the Trailblazers up by 1. Portland on a 7-0 run, but as we've seen today, these runs are not lasting. Bones Highland puts the Clippers back on top of the mid-range jumper. 69, nice to 70. Here's Anthony Simons with it. Simons, sidestep, deep 3, bang! Big shot for Inferno. 2-point game. Springer brings it up the floor, gets it to Simons, heaves one up, and it's good again. Simons, the spark plug here in the third quarter, has the Trailblazers up by 5. Kawhi Leonard inside, guarded by Springer as he's in for the layup. Good play there by the Claw. 75-72. Leonard inside for Bones Highland. Highland with it off the screen. Heaves up the 3. It is good. And we're tied at 75 as the Trailblazers call a timeout. Nobody is letting the other team get any sort of space in this lead. Filip Petrusev for 3 in the lead. He gets a good look at the top of the key, and he connects. 78-75 now. Here's Scoot Henderson. He's trapped. He gets it over to Little. What a pump fake by Nasir Little. He misses the 3. If he made that, that would have been pretty impressive. LA holds on to their lead on the following possession. It's Paul George. Hands it off to Bones Highland. Floats it up and in. And the Clippers are ahead by 6 after a 3-throw on the following possession. Norman Powell with it inside. No good. Nice defense by Simons. Powell with the rebound and the putback. And the lead is to 8. That's the biggest a deficit has been in either Blazer playing game. Impressive. Speaking of impressive, Shaedon Sharpe with a beautiful posterizer over Norman Powell. He's now got 20. Lead down to 6. Kawhi Leonard with it, looking to drive inside. Leonard's shot over Nasir Little is good. And the Clippers continue to add to their lead. They're back up by 8 with around a minute to go here in the third. Simmons gets it over to Simons. Step back 3 is good! Anthony Simons has hit some really difficult shots tonight. He's made some tough threes fall. Here's Paul George backing down on Scoot Henderson. George takes advantage of the size mismatch as the Clippers are ahead back by 7. Here comes Shaedon Sharpe inside. Sharpe and one! Big basket for the Trailblazers. They needed that one. Lead down to 4. Here's Simmons up the floor over to Shaedon Sharpe inside. Sharpe with another layup. And the Trailblazers have it right back within 2 just like that. Now with an opportunity to take the lead before the end of the third quarter as Simons dribbles out the clock. It looks like he's probably going to be the one to take the shot. Looking to call for a screen, doesn't get it. Simons is going to have to heave one up quickly. Simons at the buzzer, no good, and that'll wrap up the third. All things considered, that could have gone a lot worse. The Clippers had the lead up to 8. It looked like the Blazers were starting to slow down. Shaedon Sharpe then gets a few big baskets to put Portland right back in it as they only trail by 2 going into the fourth quarter with our season on the line. Let's see if the Trailblazers can get the comeback and finish it off. Hopefully the guys don't run out of gas here. Hopefully they've got 10 more minutes in them to keep the season alive. Nearly intercepted. Springer hands it off to Ochai Agbaji for the lead. He connects on the triple. Portland already ahead here, 88-87. First Clipper possession of the fourth. It's Paul George, who still is not coming out of the game, and for good reason, because he's also not missing. He hits the triple. Clippers back up by 2. There's Scoot with the throwdown. Bullying Paul George inside. What a play by Scoot Henderson, just 21 years old in his second postseason game. He's continuing to play well, and right as I'm gassing him up, he throws an interception to Kawhi. He gets it over to B.J. Boston. He hits the jumper, and the Clippers are back ahead, 92-90. Powell with it, guarded by Sharpe. Norman Powell looking to get some room. Nifty step back. That fooled Shaedon Sharpe. He hits the jumper to put the Clippers up by 4. Shaedon Sharpe with it now. Sharpe hands it off in the corner for Simons. Thinks about it, then takes it. It's good! Simons is living and dying by the 3 ball. His 18 points are off of 6 threes. Nothing inside. All threes and all vibes. Nice jumper there by Brandon Boston once again. Clippers ahead by 3. Sharpe inside for Ochai Agbaji. He gets the slam, and the Trailblazers are back within 1 with a little pick and roll action. Here's George guarded by Scoot Henderson. George looking to get some space. Nice spin move, and he's in for the slam. Nice dunk there by Paul George, 95-98. Simons over to Sharpe. Pump fake. Sharpe inside. Floats it up and in. He's got 27 points now, and the lead is back within 1 with around 6 minutes to go. Everybody on the floor is in takeover mode for both teams. That should lead to some high-level basketball the rest of the way. And we'll start with another Paul George 3. Clippers up by 4. The Blazers are out of takeover mode. Big opportunity here for the Clippers as Norman Powell is in for the layup. 6-point game. Here is Simons inside for Darius Springer. He gets the slam. Springer with a very solid 14-7 tonight. And he does not get back on defense quickly enough. Kamari White, the undrafted rookie out of Arkansas, is there with the slam. 6-point game. Not a lot of time left. Simons for 3. It's good! Big shot for Inferno. He's getting these end-of-game minutes because of his 3-point shooting tonight. Simons from the parking lot. It's good! Deep shot from one of the logos for Simons, and we're tied up. Anthony Simons seemingly cannot miss. Heat check for the lead. No good, but Sharpe is there with the offensive rebound and the putback. The Blazers go on a quick 8-0 run. They lead it by 2. Now looking to potentially finish the game off. Simons, pump fake, step back. He is him! Anthony Simons now with 27 points, making some of the most ridiculous 3-point shots. Lead is up to 5. Kawhi inside, gets the layup to fall. LA brings it within 3. Simons brings it up with 27 points. Drives inside over to the rookie, Darius Springer. He's blocked. Big defensive play by the other rookie, Kamari White. Portland keeps the ball on the inbound. Agbaji with it from Ayton. Here's Ochai Agbaji. Nearly loses it. Gets it back over to Shaedon Sharpe. He's guarded by Kawhi. Sharpe wants all the smoke as he gets the short shot inside to fall. And the Trailblazers lead it by 5 with around 2:20 to go. George no good. White with the quick rebound and put back. And the Clippers have it back within 3. Scoot brings it up, looking to help finish things off for Portland. Scoot inside, gets the layup. Nice play there by Scoot Henderson. And the Trailblazers are back up by 5 with 2 minutes to go. Paul George with it, guarded by Agbaji. Fadeaway jumper is going to rattle out. An unlucky roll for Paul George. 5-point game now. Agbaji thinks about the three, doesn't take. Goes to Springer. Springer inside is snuffed by White. It goes right into the hands of Agbaji for three. Bang! Ochai Agbaji at the right place at the right time. Connects on the three. The Blazers lead by 8 as they look to finish off the game. George makes the floater. Lead down to 6. Here's Bones Highland over to Kawhi. Hands it off for Paul George. George inside over to Zubac. Makes the layup, and the Clippers quickly bring it within 4. This game's far from over. The Blazers can't let the pedal off the metal. 2 seconds left. Sharp heaves it up at the end of the shot clock. No good. The Blazers wanted to waste time, but they didn't get a good shot off. Following possession, George in the corner. Highland for 3. It's good! Bones Highland brings it within 1. The Clippers currently on a 7-0 run, and it's going to be time to foul soon, as eventually Scoot Henderson would be fouled here by Bones Highland with around 27 seconds left on the clock. Who's going to get these 3 throws for Portland? They're going to inbound it over to Shaedon Sharpe, who was fouled by Kawhi Leonard. And so Sharpe will go to the line to shoot 2. The biggest 3 throws probably of his life. First one is good, and the Trailblazers are ahead by 2. Sharpe has 32. The second one is no good. Rebounded by White. Clippers will not call one of their 2 timeouts. They're going off straight vibes as George ties it with the slam. 1:18 apiece, and the Trailblazers call a timeout with 21 seconds on the clock. So now that the shot clock is unplugged, the Trailblazers can hold the ball as long as they want to. They'll get the final possession here of regulation as they look to go for the win and send themselves into the playoffs in dramatic fashion. So we want our offense lineup in the game. That's going to mean Anthony Simons is back in. We've got to crash the glass offensively in case we do get an open look quicker than right at the end of the clock. We're going to want to have guys down low ready to rebound if necessary. We don't need a 3, we only need 2, but really as long as somebody's open, they'll get the shot. So who's going to get the ball off the inbound as Ayton has it, and he'll send it over to Scoot Henderson. This is it. A playoff spot on the line for the Trailblazers, and unsurprisingly, they will hold for as long as they can. Around 12 seconds to go now. Scoot looks to call a play. He's going to have Sharpe inside. Lob is unsuccessful. Here comes the Clippers. Paul George with nobody in front of him for the win. And it's no good. Paul George misses a wide open look to send the Clippers to the playoffs. And we're going to overtime. PG literally had the game won. Portland's season was over. And he misses such a great look. So let's run through that final possession again. What happened? So Scoot Henderson sees that the paint is completely wide open. I don't think the Clippers were expecting to have Sharpe coming not off of the screen, but just on his own. So I think the play call by the Trailblazers was good. The problem is that it was unsuccessful, and nobody was back to defend George other than DeAndre Ayton, who is too slow because of his injury. George has a wide open look. It's not even like Ayton really got a hand in his face. There was nobody in front of him. Paul George just completely missed an easy shot. Here's another angle. Ayton's not even close. His motion does not affect the shot. Paul George just blatantly missed it. The Trailblazers are so lucky that that shot didn't fall, and so we will go into overtime. The starters in the game here for Portland. Simons is out. I imagine we will see him at some point in OT as Zubac wins the tip. 4 minutes of extra basketball to determine the season as Springer has it stolen away by White. On the other end, Kawhi Leonard for the lead. It's good. Nice shot for the Claw. And it's a 2-point Clipper lead. Scoot Henderson with it. He gets it to Ayton for a wide open Agbaji. Great cut off the ball by Agbaji. Again, recognizing the paint was wide open, but this time the Blazers are successful. Kawhi's shot is blocked. He gets it back, and it's good for the lead. I think that was Sharpe who originally got a hand on it. 122 to 120, under 3 to go. Highland inside. No good. Nice defense by Scoot and Agbaji. On the other end, Springer to Sharpe for the lead. It's good! Shaedon Sharpe knocks down the 3. Trailblazers up by 1 with 2.5 to go. Back in the hands of Bones Highland. Jumper will not fall. Another big defensive play by Scoot Henderson. Springer brings it up the floor to Agbaji for 3. Bang! Ochai Agbaji connects on the triple. He's got 23 points, and then he gets the steal off the inbound to Sharpe inside and 1! Shaedon Sharpe makes the layup, and he draws the foul off of an incredible defensive play by Agbaji. The Trailblazers are going to be on a 9-0 run after the three throw as Simons replaces Springer. Portland's going to go small with 4 guards in. I imagine Springer will likely return for defense shortly. George pull-up jumper is good, and the Clippers are able to stop the run as they've got it back within 5. Portland had a big lead at the end of regulation, and they choked it. They can't lose another one here, right? Henderson inside. He is fouled by Zubac. He would make both at the line, and it's a 7-point game. Here's Paul George with it for the Clippers. George gets some room for 3, and it is good. Miscommunication on that possession by the Blazers proves to cost them. 131-127. A minute and a half to go. Huge possession for the Clippers. It's White inside. No good. Big defensive stop by Agbaji. Following Blazer possession. Sharpe with it inside. Sharpe step back has Ayton wide open for the layup. It is good. And the lead is up to 6. Portland is this close to finishing it off and advancing to the playoffs. Here's George inside. His shot is no good. Nice defense by DeAndre Ayton as the Blazers are going to have to call a timeout. Ayton on the ground, clutching at his other hip. So it looks like both hips for Ayton are now injured, and so he'll have to come out of the game. Scoot Henderson lobs it up for Shaedon Sharpe. That might be the dagger. Sharpe with a 40-burger, and the Trailblazers lead by 8. Not a lot of time left for the Clippers. They need a miracle. Kawhi, fadeaway jumper is good for 3, and the lead is down to 5. Off the inbound, it's Simmons on the baseline. He gets it to Agbaji, who is eventually fouled by Paul George. So Ochai Agbaji will go to the line, looking to make it a 3-possession game and ice it as much as possible as he sinks the first one. Ochai's played in a lot of big games before, particularly the 2022 NCAA tournament run, leading Kansas to the national championship as he sinks the second one, and the lead is to 7 as the Clippers are going to call a timeout, try to regroup. We're going to bring our defensive lineup back in the game, so that's basically our regular starters minus DeAndre Ayton, and instead we'll have Ben Simmons at the 5. Around 30 seconds to go, actually 30 seconds on the dot. Kamori White looks to inbound it. Clippers need to get a shot here, and they need to get one off quick. In the corner for Bones Highland for 3. No good. Rebounded by Agbaji. Are the Clippers going to foul? They might not foul. It's in the hands of Scoot Henderson. He's going to dribble out the clock for as long as possible, and it looks like the Trailblazers are going to finish this one off. Since the shot clock is still on, they're going to look to finish it out in style. Darius Springer off the lob from Scoot Henderson with 13 to go. Bones Highland now brings it up the floor out to George. Deep 3 is no good. Rebounded by Sharpe. He'll dribble out the clock, and that will do it. He's out of bounds with around a second to go. Okay, so I guess he's not going to dribble out the clock, and the Clippers are going to get one more shot. So the Clippers will inbound it. It's Powell out to Preston from full court. No good, and the Portland Trailblazers are going to the playoffs. Who would have thought? They've got all these injuries. They're battered down. They're bruised. And guess what? This team doesn't make excuses. We've got a whole bunch of fighters. We're going to keep our season alive and march forward to the playoffs. We win this one in overtime, 139-130, and an absolute thriller. Both playing games against the Pelicans and then the Clippers were pure cinema. Paul George with 45 points. After he first came into the game off the bench, he sat for one more minute, and he played the rest of the game, and he played really well. Hats off to my guy, PG, one of my favorites. I'm happy to see him do well, and I'm happy to see that it doesn't come at an expense of a win for us. 26 for Kawhi, 18 for Bones, 18 minutes for Anunoby. I don't get that at all. What's the thought process giving your third best player 18 minutes in an elimination game? I don't get it. As for the Trailblazers, Shaedon Sharpe with a 40 bomb, and he does it on just 29 field goal attempts. When you watch certain young guys progress, it's pretty easy to tell which ones have the it factor, and I think it's pretty fair to say Shaedon Sharpe is one of them ones. He's got that it factor. In 2 playing games, he has scored 77 points in 73 minutes, and at just 21 years old, he's single-handedly winning this team's games. And over the last month or so, in super important matchups, he's been dominant as a scorer and has really elevated himself into superstardom. Anthony Simons with 27 points. He was the spark plug off the bench, making 9 threes, and they were not open threes either. Some difficult shots that he was getting to fall. Hats off to Simons. He played a great game tonight. He looks healthy out there, and he was really hitting some tough shots. There wasn't a whole lot the Clippers could have done. 23, 5, and 6 for Ochai Agbaji, doing a little bit of everything. He played great defense. He hit some big shots down the stretch. Scoot Henderson with 22 and 9. Scoot Henderson played literally the entire game. I think he sat for like a minute in the first half, and that was it. He played literally the whole game. And I got to give him credit. He was a warrior out there. 16 and 9 for Springer, 9 and 19 for Ayton. I think Ayton deserves a lot of credit playing through injury, nearly 20 rebounds with efficient offense. These 6 guys had to play at least 24 minutes. It's very clear which players that the Blazers trust the most, as seen by their minute allotment today. 19 of 35 from 3. You're not going to have many better shooting nights than that. We were just getting them to fall. We got good looks, and even when we weren't open, we were still hitting some tough shots. So DeAndre Ayton has strained his right hip. Keep in mind, his left hip is what was already injured. So now both of his hips are hurt. And while he can hypothetically play through the injury, he is a shell of himself. He's going to basically be unplayable. So it looks like we're not going to have DeAndre Ayton accessible for the first round. If he did play, he would only be a 69 overall. So it's like at that point, why bother, especially with the injuries? So Ben Simmons will likely be the starter at center, and I think he's done a fairly solid job. But who's going to be the other bigs? Darius Springer might have to get some looks at center. Maybe Jeremy Grant if he's back healthy. Our team is clearly in some injury trouble, and I think we're going to be heavily doubted going into this series against the Rockets, which we'll talk about in a minute. But first, we're going to go through our studs and duds of the year. The Google form for voting is in the description. Just to remind you guys of how the voting works here for this series, I'm picking players who have exceeded expectations or have really faced adversity well for the stud of the year. And then the dud of the year is the opposite. Guys who have not met expectations or have faced adversity. It'd be easy to say that Shaedon Sharpe and Scoot Henderson are our studs of the year because they're our 2 best players. But we gave it to them last year. Both of them have improved since last year. But I want to highlight some other players, so I'm not going to have Sharpe or Scoot up for the stud of the year. The first of our 2 candidates for the stud of the year award is going to be Anthony Simons. I thought he had a really impressive season, and I get the numbers aren't going to jump off the page per se. He's obviously coming off a great game here in the play-in tournament, but I'm trying to make these decisions not based off of what happened in the play-in games. Simons' points per game went down, but that's because we had a lot more mouths to feed. I think Simons really adjusted well to his new role, career high in assists, nearly 50, 40, 90 shooting. He's improved as a defensive player. And even when we decided to have him come off the bench, he really embraced his role and did a pretty good job in doing that. And he also played in all 82 games despite some injuries down the stretch. So I think he's had a really good season. He's really adjusted to his role well. I think it's easy for people to say that maybe we can look to trade him because we already have 2 really good guards. But I don't see the reason for that. I think Simons is a perfect fit here. Ochai Agbaji is the second stud of the year candidate. Most of his numbers from last year actually went down, believe it or not, and that's because he didn't get that many minutes early in the season. He was like the 8th or 9th man off the bench, but as the year went along, I noticed he was really playing well. He was super efficient scoring the ball. His points per game went up, despite the fact that we had more mouths to feed, and the reason why his points per game went up is because he was super efficient. 50% from the field, 44% from 3, really becoming a knockdown shooter while playing great defense. He's been a starter for us down the stretch, and he's given us some great minutes. I think both Agbaji and Simons deserve a lot of credit. For the dud of the year, I actually have 3 guys on the list. I couldn't really decide between 2. We're only going to punish 2 guys. Whoever gets the least amount of votes will not be punished. Nasir Little is going to be the first candidate. The simple reason is that his efficiencies this year were horrible. 37% from the field, 31% from 3, 66% from the line. For a guy who we should be able to trust as somebody who can come off the bench and hit spot-up threes and score inside, he didn't really do that for us. I will point out he did play pretty much every game. He had the highest plus-minus on the team by far somehow, but he also had the lowest amount of win shares by far. He was the only consistent guy with minutes who was in the negatives at negative 1.2. Jeremy Grant is our second dud of the year candidate. I don't think it's entirely his fault. He got a new role pretty early in the season, but I feel like he wasn't the same guy that he was last year, and for somebody who's basically on a max contract, you are expecting more than for him to be like the 5th scorer or whatever. He still shot the ball at 40% from 3. His defense was still fine enough, but I feel like Jeremy Grant had a real opportunity to be a great role player for this team, and he wasn't bad per se, but I feel like we could have gotten more out of him. And then our third spot, I feel bad because DeAndre Ayton was a warrior in our 2 playing games, fighting through injury. I give him a lot of credit, and I don't even think he had that bad of a year. He was better than he was last season in Phoenix, The problem that I have with Ayton is that after the All-Star break, his morale seemingly went down the toilet, and I don't know why. And I think that really became a distraction for the team. I feel like him being upset for whatever reason really hurt the team, and because of that, we really struggled after the All-Star break. Again, he did play well in the playing games, but I don't feel like the playing games should determine who we pick here because it is, after all, a regular season award. So make sure to vote again. The link is in the description for our studs and duds of the year. So let's take a look at the Houston Rockets. And as we look at this matchup, again, we're going to be the heavy underdog. We've got a bunch of guys who are hurt. We should have D'Anthony Melton coming back, and hopefully Grant will soon as well. But it's going to be a major challenge. The Rockets finished with the second best record in the league behind the Cavs, and the Rockets did it in a much better conference than Cleveland. So I would argue this is the best team in the league. The Rockets blew us out pretty much every time we played against them, and we were mostly healthy for those games. So I think we're going to be the heavy underdogs. Nobody expects us to win. But this team has shown they're willing to battle. They're willing to fight adversity. And I think we've got a slight shot to really surprise some people. And I think a bigger shot than a lot of people are going to give us credit for. I think everybody's going to basically pencil us out. They're going to say the Rockets should win this series no problem in 4 or 5 games. But I think that they could be in for a rude awakening if all goes well. I hope everybody enjoyed the episode. Certainly a fun one. Make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.